Eugene Monroe Bartlett Sr. was born on Christmas Eve of 1885. He was born in Missouri. He accepted Christ as his personal savior at a very young age. He was led into music as per the big plan of God, which in turn made him an author and a composer. After finishing Hall Moody Institute in Martin 10, he began teaching in singing schools. Because of his musical gifts and talents, young Bartlett was a sought-after music teacher. Years later, as a very successful businessman, he decided to invest his money into founding the foundation of music schools. Bartlett's mission was to publish hymns and to teach singers to sight read. In 1918, with David Moore and John A. McClung, he co-founded the Hartford Music Company in Hartford. He served as its president from 1918 to 1935. For nearly 2 decades, he opened new branches in Nacogdoches, Texas, Hartshorne, Oklahoma. He was the founder of Hartford Music Institute in 1921. He hired instructors to teach voice, piano tuning, rudiments, harmony, and stringed instruments. The school attracted many talented artists. Within the first year of business, he sold more than 15,000 copies of his hymn book, and he wrote many of the songs himself. For more than 20 years, Bartlett administered singing schools throughout Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Alabama, and Tennessee. For several years, he edited a monthly music magazine as the editor of the Herald Song Music magazine, prompting singing schools, including news of local personalities and advertising the newest songbooks. Eugene M. Bartlett Sr. met and married Joanne Tatum in 1917. They were parents to 2 sons, Gene Bartlett Jr., a nationally known writer of contemporary church music, and Charles Bartlett, minister of music in a large Texas church. Through this music ministry, Bartlett gave many writers, singers, and musicians their first opportunity in gospel music, including Alfred E. Brumley, who wrote "I'll Fly Away" and "Turn Your Radio On." Bartlett is considered a founding father of Southern gospel music. When he was not instructing, Bartlett was an avid composer of hymns and gospel songs. Unfortunately, in 1939, a stroke rendered Bartlett, partially paralyzing him and making him unable to perform or travel. He spent the last 2 years of his life bedridden. All his ministry had almost come to a halt. It's said that Bartlett missed traveling and teaching, but he still could do one thing: study the Bible. A study from which he gave us this wonderful song during a time when much of the earth sat on the brink of the Second World War. Amid such bleak circumstances, he wrote his final and most beloved song, Victory in Jesus, an optimistic number that has been sung by millions in worship services and recorded by gospel's biggest names. The three verses and refrain enthusiastically tell of one's personal salvation experience from beginning till the end, with also the healing power present in Jesus' blood. Even though he was undergoing a difficult stage of his life, he knew that he has won the victory through Christ's sacrifice on the cross and was assured of his eternal victory. Hence, he wanted the song to be filled with happiness and enthusiasm and not with sorrow, and composed it the way it is today. Victory in Jesus was written in 1939, 2 years before Bartlett's death. The song first appeared that year in Gospel Choruses, a paperback songbook published by James Vaughan in Lawrenceburg, 10. Since the early 1960s, Victory in Jesus has become popular among evangelical congregations, quartets, and many hymnals have included it within their published pages. Since he was no longer able to travel to minister or teach, his son Eugene Jr. took over. He would travel around the South, continuing his father's ministry. One night, he had traveled for a revival service. He had asked a well-known evangelist of the time to speak. The man did and gave a wonderful sermon. But when the altar call was given, no one came forward. Eugene Jr. said he felt the Lord urging him to sing his father's new song, which he had not sung publicly before. He did, and as he sang, many in attendance began to come forward to surrender themselves to the Lord. At the end of the service, over 50 men and women had accepted Christ as their Savior. Only 2 years after his stroke, due to its complication, Bartlett died on January 25, 1941. He was buried at the Oak Hill Cemetery in Siloam Springs in Benton County. Throughout his 56 years of his life, Bartlett composed more than 800 songs, including Everybody Will Be Happy Over There and Just a Little While to Stay Here. Bartlett was inducted into Gospel Music Association's Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee in 1973. In the midst of all his trouble, he still could confidently say, "There's victory in Jesus." Bartlett Eugene. Thank you. Stay tuned. God bless.